I've got a present for you. Real tough guy.
Preparing.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Very well. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Agreed.
Preparing. Building. Building. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Acknowledged. 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 Reporting. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Comrade.
Building. Unit ready. Building.
Reporting. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Reporting. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. 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 Acknowledged.
Comrade. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Awaiting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
I've got a
Acknowledged.
present for you.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Unit
Acknowledged.
lost.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Preparing. 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 Building.
Reporting.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Base is under
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Acknowledged.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready. Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building. Insufficient
Affirmative.
funds.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Objective met.
Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Vehicle
Unit
reporting.
lost. Preparing.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Our base is under attack.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Insufficient funds.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Waiting order.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Acknowledged.
Ready and waiting.
Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Vehicle
Yes, sir.
report. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Repairing.
Waiting acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Awaiting acknowledged. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Insufficient funds.
Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Repairing.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Building.
Comrade. Acknowledged. 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 Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit repaired.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. 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 Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building. Unit lost.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Insufficient
Acknowledged.
funds.
Comrade, sir.
Our base is under attack.
Affirmative.
Repairing. Repairing. Unit ready.
Reporting.
Repairing.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Repairing. Unit ready. Building.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Affirmative.
Repairing.
Reporting.
Repairing.
Acknowledged.
Insufficient funds.
Awaiting acknowledged.
Repairing.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Reporting.
Building.
Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
repaired. Repairing. Unit repaired.
Comrade. Affirmative.
Repairing.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit repaired. Unit ready. Building.
Comrade.
Repairing.
Acknowledged.
Unit repaired.
Reporting.
Unit ready. Building. Repairing.
Yes, sir. Vehicle report. Affirmative.
Waiting order.
Unit
Affirmative.
repaired.
Awaiting
Repairing.
orders. Affirmative.
Unit prepared.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Waiting.
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Insufficient
Acknowledged.
funds.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Waiting
Yes, sir.
order.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Repairing.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Comrade. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Waiting order. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Comrade.
Yes, sir.
Waiting order. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Insufficient funds.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Waiting. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Reporting.
Unit
Acknowledged.
lost.
Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Comrade. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Base is under attack.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Repairing.
Yes, sir. Waiting orders. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Comrade.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. 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 Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Insufficient
Comrade.
funds.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged.
Repairing.
Reporting. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.